What can you think about a man who smiles self-contentedly while the jury reads out a verdict that could lead to his execution? It seems Wade Wilson lives in his own world, where he sees himself as a supervillain created for war. He even has the phrase "born for war" tattooed on him, along with various other symbols, including swastikas. His image, complete with tattoos resembling Jared Leto's Joker, is both unsettling and emblematic of the violent path he's chosen. Today, we will delve deep into the case of Wade Wilson, a man who gained worldwide notoriety for his heinous acts. But what makes this case so horrifying is the sheer brutality of his crimes, paired with his unsettlingly casual demeanor in court. Before we begin, be warned that the content of this video includes graphic descriptions of violent acts. Viewer discretion is advised. Please hit that like button, subscribe for more true crime content, and join us as we dive into the twisted mind of Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson was arrested in 2019 for the brutal murders of two women, Diana Ruiz and Christine Melton. These murders occurred within just a few hours of each other, and the motive behind these killings was nothing short of madness. And yet, these were far from his only crimes. Alongside the double murder charges, Wilson was accused of stealing Christine Melton's car, petty theft, home invasion, and even assaulting his former girlfriend, Melissa Montanez. Oh, and to add to the list, he attempted to escape custody after his arrest. On June 12, 2021, the Florida jury handed down its verdict, recommending the death penalty for Wilson. Under Florida law, at least 8 jurors must vote in favor of the death penalty. In Wade's case, 10 jurors voted for death in the murder of Diana Ruiz, and 9 out of 12 in the murder of Christine Melton. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had recently signed Senate Bill 450, lowering the threshold for death penalty votes from a unanimous jury to a majority. Wade Wilson now faces the ultimate punishment, and his fate lies in the hands of a judge. Wade is currently held at the Lee County Jail, awaiting sentencing. If the judge rules for execution, he will be transferred to the Union Correctional Institution, home to Florida's death row inmates. It's a place that houses some of the country's most notorious criminals, serial killers, rapists, and drug dealers, including infamous figures like Kevin Foster, founder of the Lords of Chaos Gang, and Troy Victorino, who participated in the Deltona massacre. This is the same prison that once held Ted Bundy, another infamous name in American crime history. Wilson's life story is as twisted as his crimes. He was born to teenage parents. His mother was only 13, and his father was 14 when he came into the world. Unable to care for him, they gave him up for adoption to Steve and Candy Wilson. Wade grew up alongside two sisters in a seemingly normal family. However, his biological father, Steve Anastasio, would re-enter Wade's life when he was 18, though their relationship was sporadic and distant. By the age of 16, Wade began his journey into criminality. From fraud and theft to physical violence, his record was extensive. But no one could have predicted the horrific events that would unfold in 2019. On October 7, 2019, Wade Wilson met Christine Melton at a local bar in Cape Coral, Florida. After spending some time together, Wilson went back to Melton's house, where he strangled her in her sleep. He then slept in her bed before leaving, stealing her black Nissan Versa, and disappearing into the night. Just a few hours later, Wilson encountered 40-year-old Diana Ruiz as she walked to work. He lured her into his car by asking for directions to a nearby school. When she sensed danger and tried to escape, Wilson brutally beat and strangled her. Believing she was dead, he drove out of town to dispose of her body. But as he prepared to dump her, he noticed she was still alive. In a cold-blooded move, Wilson ran her over with the stolen car repeatedly until he was sure she was dead. Wilson had a girlfriend at the time, Melissa Montanez, with whom he had lived for 6 months. She had tried to leave him but failed. The day after the murders, Wilson tracked her down and tried to force her into his car. Suspicious of the vehicle, Montanez refused, and a struggle ensued. She managed to escape, and workers from nearby stores called the police. By the time officers arrived, Wilson had fled the scene. He drove back to Cape Coral, stopping at the home of a former co-worker, Josh, asking for money to leave town. Josh refused, and Wilson chillingly replied, "You don't understand, I killed people last night." Josh immediately called the police. Wade Wilson was now wanted not only for assaulting Melissa but for the brutal murders. Wilson was apprehended on October 8th, hiding in a random home in Cape Coral. After his arrest, he called his ex-girlfriend Melissa Montanez from jail, confessing to the murders. His nonchalant demeanor was chilling, as he casually described how he had killed Christine Milton and Diana Ruiz. In court, Wilson's father testified, revealing that his son had called him multiple times after the murders, detailing his horrific actions. His father, initially in disbelief, eventually realized the horrifying truth. His son was a murderer. During the trial, Wilson showed no remorse. His behavior in court, including strange gestures and smirks, left many puzzled. Was it an act, or was it a reflection of his disturbed mind? One of the most talked about aspects of Wade Wilson's case was his extensive tattoos. Half of his face is covered with the outline of a skull, and over his right eye, the word glory is written. Beneath that, a swastika. On his chin, the phrase "Born for War" is tattooed in large, bold letters. Many speculated that these tattoos were part of a prison survival strategy. Some believe Wilson joined a neo-Nazi gang while incarcerated to ensure his safety. Now, Wade Wilson faces the death penalty. His fate rests with the judge, but it's clear that his heinous actions have left a lasting scar on the families of his victims. So what do you think? Is Wade Wilson truly a product of his troubled childhood, or is he simply a cold-blooded killer? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the case of Wade Wilson. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who are passionate about true crime.